Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Markeith, aka Biz the Businessman, straight out of El Dorado, Arkansas. And today I'm launching my new YouTube channel, Small Towns, Big Dreams, where we discuss entrepreneurship from a small town's perspective. This is not going to be your typical financial literacy show. This show is going to be real life situations that real entrepreneurs go through every day. Not the glitz and glam of being entrepreneurs, but actually talking about the real stuff that goes on, the hard work, the late nights, the balancing of budgets, the meeting payroll, the lack of access to capital, the lack of resources that some of your counterparts may have. We're going to be getting into all that good stuff. So this will not be your cookie cutter pie in the sky podcast. Now, with that being said, today we're going to talk about the reasons that I personally like being an entrepreneur. But before we get into that, I want to ask that if you like this content, or even if you just want to help a brother out, please like, subscribe, and share this YouTube channel. Also, I would love for you to comment as you see fit because I love constructive criticism, and I know that constructive criticism will definitely help me improve the channel. Like I said before, this is the pilot. This is the first episode. So I don't have all my tools with me. I don't have the best equipment starting off, but I do have some stuff on the way. And I promise as we continue to keep going and continue to keep growing, I will continue to keep improving. But nevertheless, we are here for a reason. And those reasons are the three reasons to be an entrepreneur. Now, my number one reason is freedom/control. Freedom/control. I think deep down, everyone wants financial freedom or just freedom to do what they want to do on a daily basis and to be able to control their own lives in every aspect. Um, when I was really considering being an entrepreneur, me and a friend of mine, we used to talk about it all the time. And one day he told me the story about the lion. And that story goes like this. There was once a lion roaming the jungle, hunting, killing his own food, taking care of his pride. Till one day, the people from the circus sent out a bunch of hunters to the jungle and they captured the lion. They brought him back, put him in the cage, and they tried to feed him. He refused to take the food because he's the lion. He's used to hunting and killing his own food. So the next day, they try to feed him again. He throws the plate over again. So by day 4, he's not throwing the plate over anymore, but he's still not eating. He's pushing the plate back, saying he doesn't want the food. Well, by the end of the week, as you can guess, the lion gets hungry, and now he has to eat the food. So as time goes by, the next week, he continues to eat the food every day now. He's gotten used to it. He's got content. He's okay with them serving him every day. And then he starts thinking. He says, well, when I was outside, I had to hunt every day. I had to look for food. I had to avoid other predators. I had to deal with the cold weather. I had to deal with the heat. But if I stayed here and do a task that they assign me every day, they'll feed me, they'll clothe me, they'll keep the lights on, they'll keep me in good temperature. All I have to do is comply. Now, as I go into this story, obviously you're the lion, the cage is the job, the people feeding you are the people that you work for. So one day the lion escapes the cage, and now he's back in the jungle. He had almost forgot who he was. And now he realizes that I'm the king of the jungle. I don't need anyone to feed me. I don't need anyone to give me food and take care of me. I'm capable to take care of myself because I am the king. And when I heard that story, it always stuck with me. And it put in perspective everything that I've always thought, that there's nothing wrong with working for anyone. There's nothing wrong with being disciplined, getting up every day, working the 9 to 5. I know plenty of people that live wonderful lives, have raised wonderful families, bought beautiful homes. They drive nice cars. They take their family on nice vacations. They do all this by being disciplined, getting up every day, going to work, doing their job, staying focused. So this is no knock on anyone that does that. Just for me, I like the freedom and control aspect, probably just a little more. Now, with that said, I'm a very humble guy. So if I had to go to work tomorrow at McDonald's for that matter and do what I had to do to put food on the table and feed my kids, I would happily do that with no problem. So I am not here to judge. In fact, the path that I have chosen of entrepreneurship, even though it gives me more freedom and control, I work now more than ever. So only a fool would take advantage of the freedom he or she has as an entrepreneur. So although I have a lot of freedom, I do not take advantage of that. My day starts early every day, it ends late every day, and everything in between. I'm always busy trying to fight for time. And then some days when I'm not busy, I still don't want to do anything because I just want to rest my brain. And I'm sure so many people can relate to that out there. So these are the type of things that we'll be talking to. But number one on my list is definitely freedom and control. So number two, we're going to talk about the tax benefits. Oh my God. when I first started being an entrepreneur, and I can remember going through that first tax season of being an entrepreneur and not just, you know, doing your typical W-2 from a job. Just the advantages you have as an entrepreneur is crazy. Now, you make a lot of money, but you spend a lot of money. Uh, but the difference is the taxes. If you have a really good tax person that can help you with all your deductions, if you keep, you don't even have to keep the best record, but if you keep pretty good tight records of everything that you have going out, coming in, everything you spend money on, the tax benefits for being an entrepreneur is amazing. Uh, I know people that'll work a whole year and make a certain amount of money and pay a ton of money in taxes and payroll taxes, federal taxes every week. They get taxed hard on overtime and things like that. And my heart goes out to them because I know there's a lot of people that's working really hard for the government to come right in and just take all your money. Well, me on the other hand, my potential of earning is very high, but not only that, over a year's time, my tax burden is going to be much, much lower because of deductions and things I can write off being an entrepreneur. And I think that's key. That allows you to retain more of your money and wealth for yourself and for your family. Now, what you do with that money, that's another thing. The smart thing would be to take the savings, try to reinvest it, save it, do whatever you do. Some people take their money they save from taxes and they do things they want. Nothing wrong with that either. But the amount of money you can save every year, every month by being a business by being a business owner at the end of the year is just amazing. So even if I some kind of way had to go back out to the workforce and find a job, I would still keep me a LLC just to be able to potentially take advantage of some of the tax burdens, because that is a major thing. And you have to be a full-time entrepreneur to really appreciate the tax benefits of being an entrepreneur. Now, last but not least, legacy and generational wealth. Generational wealth has been a hot buzzword for years now in our community, and that's something that we didn't always talk about and we didn't always discuss. I can remember growing up, coming through school, they told you to go to school, get an education, come out, find a job, save money, put money in your 401k, and be responsible and be able to live off your 401k and Social Security. That's what we were taught, and nothing's wrong with that to a certain extent. But there's too many things they don't tell you. And I think this system kind of from day one teaches you to be the good subordinate employee, and they don't teach you to be the individual that goes out and does for themselves. And every society is going to have winners and losers. Every society is going to have entrepreneurs or people that work, and we're not here to judge either side. But generational wealth and legacy is very, very important to me. Are there people that work jobs that make more than entrepreneurs? Of course they are. But if you really think about it, the person that's making the high wage working the job, they're still working for someone that started a business in the past, and then they're high up, and you're just still kind of working for them. So it's just going to be really hard to outpace the serious entrepreneur that handles their business, executes their plan, and gets the right results. I don't care where you work; it's going to be hard. So yeah, I don't compare myself to a VP at a big corporation, But if I compare what I do on a daily, on a monthly, to someone that's just working a typical 9 to 5, I guarantee you don't have the benefits that I have. You don't see what I see on a daily basis. Now, what we do with that money once we get in, that's a whole different story. You can get a little and be very responsible and make it stretch, or you can get a lot and you can run through it doing foolish things. We all know that. I'm just saying, all things considered equal, the amount of money potential that you can get as an entrepreneur, I think it's going to always outpace those that's working a living wage. Uh, Me personally, I typically don't wait on checks. I don't work hourly. A lot of my businesses are based on contracts I have with other businesses. So most of my business is B2B. So a lot of times, I'm having to wait on my money. I have employees, I hire them to do tasks, and I don't make them wait until I, collect my money. I pay them right away, and then, I bill, send out invoices, and then I have to wait. But I'm not waiting on a small wage check. I'm waiting on a big boy to come in, and that's what I like. And not only that, legacy. If I go to a job, if I perform high and work there 20 or 30 years, when I leave, when I die, they may give me a watch. They may tell me how great I was, or tell my family how great I was, but within a week or two, they'll replace me and it'll be someone else. And my kids won't be able to inherit anything with that business. But the businesses that I'm building these with the intent of one day leaving them to my children if they so choose to want to run them. Um, and that's what I call legacy. I'm trying to leave a legacy. So when I leave, the things I was able to build, I can pass down and society can look there and I can just leave my mark, my footprint, in my community or, not, or for even bigger, a bigger perspective for the world. So those are just some things, that really pushes me to want to be an entrepreneur. Freedom, definitely the tax financial benefits, and definitely the legacy and the generational wealth possibilities of being an entrepreneur. Now you can build wealth working, but it's just a little different. You having to work a lot harder, and you may not always be in control of what you do. But as entrepreneurs, we kind of have a little more control, and that's just my opinion. People may see it differently, and I understand that and respect that. I'm only giving you it from my perspective. So those are the three things that kind of help motivate me the most to continue this entrepreneurship journey. Now, I want to appreciate all you all that stayed to the end of this video with me. If you did like this content and want to see more content like this, I would definitely ask that you like and subscribe to this page once again. Share it with someone that you think it may can help. And please leave me a comment. I love constructive criticism. Or even if you got a little hate from me, man, I can find something good in that and I'll take that too. And if I can't, oh well, you got freedom of speech. You got something you want to say it. And I also appreciate encouragement. So if you like what you're saying and you got some encouraging words, man, hey, I appreciate that also. Uh, in the meantime, I also want those other people that's in positions that I am, full-time entrepreneurs, even part-time. If you would like to come on the show and discuss with me what you have going on, and we can break some bread together and talk about ideas and solutions and bounce things off each other, and just, if you want to just come on here and share some of your experiences, I would love to do that with you guys. So please let me know. Also, I've already spoken with several entrepreneurs that I anticipate will be on the show here and there. And, not only will you be hearing from me, but you'll be hearing from them also. So, just kind of stay patient and hang in there with me. Like I told you before, this is the first show. It's the pilot. It's just something I've been wanting to do for a long time. Just kind of nervous to just jump out there and do it because it's definitely not easy just staring at a camera with no one around, just me and you talking. So I promise you, if you stick with me, I'll get better as I go. But please let me know what you think. Let me know how I can make this better. So in the meantime, all you guys out there, guys and gals that's working hard to try to keep yourself floating above water, I feel your pain, I feel your struggle, but I also feel your determination. And I pray that you don't quit, that you keep going. Oh, and before I finish, definitely find you someone that's in the game full time like yourself to be able to bounce ideas with, or even just to vent with. That's very important because there's some days without my circle, I don't know if I could have got through without them encouraging me, just telling me to keep pushing and helping me get through some of these times. So that's going to be very important. But anyway, to all you all that stay, man, I appreciate your time. Follow this channel, and we'll keep trying to put out some good content. But other than that, you guys have a great evening. See you on the next one.